welcome to a new day. Wonderful time trading, right? So what is currently going on? Very much welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hopefully, you are as 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 having as much fun as I am having. As you can see, red is the new word on town today. So let's go through it. Let's go through it and see what we can do with that. If you are here for the first time, very much welcome. And if you haven't, I have been trading for quite a while. So when I speak about trading, it is only for myself only. Not it is not financial advice whatsoever. It is only for myself and speak theoretically for educational purposes, so that it's up to you to make your own choices. If you have, um, oops, I was supposed to do that. Cool, great. Cool. So, for S&P 500, we are seeing red numbers in the futures at the beginning of the day. Nasdaq is red, dollar is green, Aussie is weak, Euro is weak, New Zealand down, pound down, dollar yen higher, Aussie yen, Euro yen, Swiss yen, sorry, Euro yen coming in lower. We are having oil. Oil earlier today was peaking about Brent about 85. The US won about 77 or so, 70.45. That red candle there is potentially, at least, either that was also when Xi Jinping came out and said that we need to ensure that the Strait of Hormuz is open, and that we de-escalate the situation. How likely that is going to be having any impact, I do not know. But Xi Jinping calls for parties in the Middle East to keep the most important oil shipping routes throughout the Strait of Hormuz open, and calls for the parties to keep it open. Yeah. So, you know, that's that. So I don't know if it had any impact at all. That definitely had an impact on gold. Gold had a bit of a dip in that period as well. It could be a bit earlier than that, but generally, that is my main theory: is gold for fall to fall. Well, mostly because this in the theory that the situation is over, but gold falls also because of that the situation continues, because we are currently now pricing in higher inflation in the US, in the EU, for that matter, Japan and wherever else, UK, but an increase in inflation in the US sends gold lower, because gold falls on higher interest rate and higher inflation expectations. So that's kind of where that one comes from. And I saw a question in one chat, like, what happened? This is the world. This is why you don't buy the high. And I said yesterday that on A1 that it will slightly to fall, not it will fall, it's likely to fall, because we already priced in the gap, already priced in this current situation. And with the current situation persist, then yeah, likely to continue lower. Aussie seems to have been losing some footing at the moment. It's falling across the board. And then if I go to say currency strength, probably You see that dollar is strongest, Aussie is weakest, New Zealand, then pound, then Japan and Canada. So we are kind of risk off. Canada is of course strengthening because their economy is dependent on selling oil, and now oil price is going higher. They are then receiving they will then receive more income. So that kind of makes sense. But euro has been slightly falling today, so that's in itself everything makes sense. A bit of I made a bit of a fun little search today. If you want to leave Muscat on 5th, you have to pay $2,000, 2,300. So if you want to or need to get out of the region, it is absolutely well, it's heightened prices, obviously. And I've seen earlier, we have seen some flights coming out and flying out of Abu Dhabi, and they have been flying to, and also from Dubai, they've been flying to European cities. I think it was 5 A380s in the morning. So I'm not sure, and I can't confirm that even if it was with passengers, but there is some kind of normalization there-ish. And secondly, the Strait of Hormuz seems to be still practically and physically closed. Now, the other part to all of this is how likely is Iran going to intervene into a boat or ship trying to pass? Does US have enough, and the Gulf state have enough to withstand such an attack? I'm not sure. I do not know. On the fundamental side of Europe, CPI came in at core CPI came in at 2.4. That is increases. Now, already this morning or this afternoon, the traders that is trading Europe has been having a higher chance of ECB rates. That's why this one was open. ECB rates are for today. Our market is slightly thinking, well, but by the end of this year, there may be an increase because these higher oil prices are directly influencing inflation. So that would be bullish for Europe. But I mean, it's just it's of course not it's not more than the damage that the current war is creating. So the damage with the higher oil price will be more than just the higher interest rates coming down the road. So that's a timing issue right now. Market is it's sending it lower and then turning higher at a later date. I would hope for it to be today though, but you know, timing. Let us see. Let's go to financialjuice.com. My squawk. So there has been some talks I can see here. The money market is now seeing a 40% chance of an ECB rate hike by the end of the year. I was 25% earlier today. US is mentioning immediate missile over Durham, says the US embassy in Riyadh. If they start to attack Saudi, I don't know Iran. I don't know if that's a good idea. Well, every country, GCC country, is backed by US military equipment, so I don't know if that's a good thing. So yeah, so I'm basically looking for I'm looking for any positivity here. That China or Russia tells people to open up the strait. I don't think Russia would, but China would, because that would make their oil way more expensive. I'm looking for where the bottom could be, and we have passed through that bottom like a hot knife through butter. Weekly target is hit a long time ago. Monthly target is hit a long time ago. Can we get on to 1460? I don't know, but we are back down to a level that we were at January 26th. So it's not necessarily like, I don't know. It's not that we are down into deep areas. We've been here before. It's just we were quite high. And now I don't know if I feel dumb, but I feel like, why did I short this? I did short it over here. Why didn't you hold it? I didn't believe that the implication of this war would be euro dollar lower. I thought we were going to go higher, so I exited about 1750. So I think that was a good place. And a good place is apparently about almost 280 pips ago. So there is that. So take everything with a pinch of salt. I hope that you do that, and everything is great. So yeah, let's continue. First of all, the generality of everything here is what leads euro to go lower is fear and expectations. And how long is this matter going to continue? And as a trader, this is kind of where you get paid or you lose, is how high can this oil price go? We have heard numbers like 100. We've heard numbers like 50. No, sorry, 70. Where we already are, and we have heard prices of 120. 120 to me sounds like something needs to be seriously broken for that to happen. And then the market, I don't know how adaptable they are, but of course, when you have shutdown in the Middle East, you can't get out 20% oil. You will of course at least see a 20% price hike, and probably going to be 4 times, but we are now currently at 13%. But then how much can they produce somewhere else and still serve China? How much can Canada? How much can US? I saw earlier today that IEA, the International Energy Agency, said that they were going to have a meeting today and try to mitigate the Iran consequences. If that is increasing oil supply somewhere else, then that should have some kind of dampening effect on at least not necessarily skyrocketing oil price, but at the end of the day, if for it to stop, oil price to rise through the roof should be substantial amounts. So what I'm waiting for right now, euro yen is at a support, pound yen is at support. I am waiting for this one to either make a small reversal on 15 minutes or something that shows me, okay, this isn't just a fluke. This is actually higher high, higher low. So we are currently at the number 1 trade, and I want to get to number 2. Of course, there is a situation where you can buy outright, just buy the outright price at either M2, but I want to buy Central Pivot, even though that makes me have a stop loss of 100 or more. I want market to stop falling as it fell this morning, and I want it to kind of bounce and show me that we're actually going to go higher. So that, since I'm on a 15-minute, I should be able to get some kind of answers within, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on, candles. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for this to happen. I'm waiting for this to happen. I am waiting for, well, New Zealand yen is currently doing it, so I'm waiting for that to happen. But that puts me in quite a high price on New Zealand yen. Of course, buying M2 this week would have been great. But I just don't want to be a part of 100 pip stop losses on every currency that I'm on. So I probably will get the same price as central pivot in the end. I just wanted to have a reversal behind it on technicals so that it gives me a bit more confidence, so that we just don't buy falling sharp knives. So that is number one. That is number two. I want euro dollar to turn around, and of course that is currently falling pretty hard. To me, that signals that we are pausing to we're pausing to fall. And of course, your dollar could turn lower and do whatever. And what I said yesterday was, okay, so how am I supposed to enter today? Which primarily today is my go-to, and London. When I woke up this morning, this was London Open, so that was already there. We were not at a high low situation. So I wanted this, and I got that. So I'll be like, cool. See you later, alligator. Pound, same situation. Not necessarily waiting for a reversal here, but I'm hoping that we could turn around at some point. But of course, that depends that there is changes in the sentiment right now, which seems to be souring every second. Explosions heard in Tehran, in Karaj, west of the capital. Okay, so whatever I read, I see, okay, that's just what we have been doing so far. IDF says they're having a new wave of attacks. If you guys remember back from the Ukraine situation, we had a lot of, we had a lot of those things that you have in a bombardment upon bombardment. Iraq has decreased oil production from merely oil field by 70,000. Okay, so this is kind of what is going to send the oil price even higher. Well, it's kind of the cause and effect, I guess, because the strait is not open. You don't have other ways at the moment to get oil out. I guess it's difficult to get trucks worth that much oil to go to other ports, to get the oil out. So, well, this is just, I would argue, is just a confirmation of the same situation. And I mean, that would be oil bullish. The question is it going to be more oil bullish than what it already is? I said yesterday in a message, I said that you should have the 75. I think it was 75 price as your most likely high, and expect market to move lower. And the reason behind that is, again, we have to wait and see. Price action at that point now shows that it wants to go higher, because we have a locked situation in Hormuz, and for me, it seems to be the high, unless we have an escalation. But then we had an escalation after I said that. So sorry, yeah, we had an escalation. So I think my thought process is still stands behind. Okay, do we have escalation? Do we have escalation? Do we have escalation? What is considered escalation? And if we go and check out marine traffic, you can see there is buildups of more boats, and boats are still stuck, and not really boats are trying to pass through. So we indeed have a locked situation. Now the question is, are we getting? Will this be resolved tomorrow? Will this be resolved next week? We don't know, and that's the most painful part of trading. And as investors, as it is to not know, insecurity is worth a lot. So as you can see here, when we are going into US Open, it really it is still continuing to show dollar strength and showing a risk off. But on the other side, we are not seeing a good push on the US oil higher. So I'm just going to say, of course, I'm going to say this, as long as we still climb, I'm going to say, oh, this is the peak, this is the peak, this is the peak. This is the local high. Let us call it that. Let's call it local high, temporarily high. If it's getting cemented as the high, time will tell. To me right now, it is more than likely to be surpassed and moved higher, and that is just a realization. And okay, cool. We had a closing of the straight, and then the question has been like, is it actually closed? And to my answer to that is, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, it's about, does ships actually get through? And the answer to that is, ships doesn't get through. The oil is not delivered, and since we don't have an oil delivery, therefore it is closed. It's kind of like, is the main open closed? Yes or no? But if the metal bars inside is closed, is it still open? Yes. That is still that is still a thing. Let me see. Let's go back to euro yen. 15 minutes. No new high yet. Pound yen. I think pound is really getting a grip here. Stronger than the other ones. New Zealand as well, having a grip. I mean, if this starts to break higher, then I really love it. I would love that. Thank you very much, New Zealand yen. You are a great trading partner. Dollar yen continues to show strength. I wasn't certain, but I was thinking here, is this the peak? Now, the problem, as you have seen on gold, is gold peaked quite hard. We don't know where and when we're going to peak. We can make assumptions, we can trade, we can have theories. At the end of the day, it's up to the market. And when I thought that should be the peak, my thought process was, it's about 57, shy of 158. Even though I want dollar yen to rise, generally speaking, I just don't know if the current situation is a situation where dollar yen should rise. I would imagine that probably at the end of the day, it should probably come down, and go into some kind of range where both dollar and yen becomes stronger. excuse me, Iraq oil production. So in 2024, they had 4.4 million barrels, and they have announced now that they are closing down. Is it plus? Yeah, it's probably a plus. So 460 and 700. So that's about 1.16, 1.6, 1.06, 1.66 million. So we are getting closer to where getting closer to their daily production, but they still have 75% of their production allegedly still going on. So, but again, even if they are producing, even if they are still producing oil, at some point they have to stop because where are going to store it? It doesn't really matter where and what and where you produce if you can't get it onto a tanker or onto a truck, and secondly onto a customer. Hi, Bram. Thank you. Oh, you're so kind. How are you? Yes, I have come back to this crazy place. I love doing this, but I don't know if this is a bit too much for my precious soul. Um, I want the dollar to fall. I want the euro yen to rise. I want the pound yen to rise. I wanted everyone to be happy. And then somebody decided that happiness isn't what we want. We want to show how strong we are. So that creates a bit of roughness on gold, ups and downs. From now, I don't know where gold is going to go. My process earlier was that that's resistance and that's support, and then we have now also fallen beyond the starting point of this. So to me is okay, it can probably fall some more, but of course that is, I don't know. I don't actually know, and I don't have any basis other than that the current situation is going to continue, and what has sent gold lower has been these expectations of higher inflation and interest rate hikes in the United States, which is far fetched, if you ask me. But you have been in Saudi. Oh wow, how is it? Yeah, I'm sorry. How is Saudi? How is it to be there? And I hope for everything it's worth that you're in a safe place, of course, unless you wouldn't be here online checking around. But yeah, no, I think I've said this for a longer time, not here, but wherever else I've been on A1 every Monday, is that I've been gold higher for longer. But that's also from here, for that matter. I'm still there. I'm still gold higher for longer generally. We've had here the Chinese New Year, and China was having a bit of a break from buying. Now we have this thing. I believe we should fall. I just don't know the intricacies of it at the moment. And then we should probably turn around at some point. I just don't know when some point becomes some point. I just don't know when that is going to be like. Because it all depends on when market believes that the current situation is under control and we can go back to being normal trading again. So when fundamentals and normal, quote unquote, the longer views are taking over. So not advice or anything, but if you can wait a moment, I would really love to see that. Yeah, okay, fantastic. All that I want to hear. All that I want to hear. And I believe it's burning hot. Where you are. But I hope you have air conditioning, by the way, bro. What was it the other day? 35 degrees in Doha when they were, or in Dubai when they were sleeping in the car park. So I would imagine it's a good temperature. But yeah. Yada. $1. Turn around. Pound. Turning around. New Zealand. Turning around. Aussie yen. Maybe. Euro yen. Oh. Pound yen. Oh. New Zealand yen. Yeah. Ah, okay. Now I'm better. Now I'm in a better mood. I'm just trying to get into this market without burning myself and my hands. That's all I'm trying to do. But I mean, we've had a great. I had a great period. I had sold Eurodollar, bought it again last week. Thought this was going to go higher because of this, but then apparently not. Hit stop loss at just below 117, so that's out. I've been buying Euro yen. That was my exit. That was my entry. I could have been a better entry, but I just wanted to be okay. We come down, lost that one. Okay, just get in there and get it out. And I think I'm pretty. I think we're pretty okay with that. That do you recommend it? 45. Like, bro. My brain stopped working at, what is it, 30, 28, 30? Oh, I've been to, I've probably told this before, but I've been to Dubai, and it was 40, I think it was 48 at midnight. It was about July. Wow. But yeah. Yeah. Do you recommend it? Never been to Saudi Arabia, so I can't really tell. Don't, I don't have any, well, yeah. I have probably some people I can call up and ask, but would you look at that? Could you bought here? Could have. Could have, would have, should have. But nope. 46, okay. Let's try and wait for the turnaround. Canadian, Aussie yen. Ooh, okay. Even you are turning around now. Like that. Did something happen in the meantime? Or was it just because I came online? You never know. Yesterday I said it was bottom. It was supposed to be bottom on Nasdaq. That would be where that candle there. I said that was going to be the bottom. Wasn't too right. I didn't trade though, bro. Bram, I didn't trade it, but back in March, back in April, I called that the bottom. So I said, "This is the bottom," and sure it happened, but that was fun. So I said again yesterday that, hey, this is gonna be bottom. So I hope it's the bottom. But in all seriousness, um, it's just It's just in the spur of the moment. We don't really know. Of course, things can happen. Building of Iran's assembly of experts has been flattened by an airstrike, said Iranian news agencies. Iraq will be forced to cut its production by more than 3 million barrels per day in a few days if oil tankers can't move freely and reach loading ports, says two Iraqi oil officials. So they have shut down 1.06 now, Mel, and then we will see if they continue. Sorry, if this blockage continues. Yeah, cool. Nothing new there. Sorry. What did you think should happen? What did you think should happen? Or what was your idea? Okay. That was taken down again. Okay. Coolio. Dollar strength coming in instead. Japan falling, S&P falling, Nasdaq falling. Okay. Just trying to find. I don't know where it is now. Market opening hours. There we go. Because I thought that New York would open 2:30. Yeah, 2. So it's an hour ago. Okay. Cool, yeah. We are then online. Yeah. It's been rough out there these last few months anyways. They've had gold euphoria and then it came crashing down again. So even though if you're trying to do something, it's still difficult. So even if you want to, yeah. And then this was my Aussie yen trade. Got out here. I don't know if I could have gotten another 100 pips out of it. But now we are coming back down to same or better entry again. It's just that it's just ridiculously high. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how far we can come down before we turn up again. But Aussie's having a really rough day. And nat gas should be turning higher as that is also affected by the lack of output from the Gulf, as Qatar Qatar and Iraq. Most of them probably are, but Qatar has stopped their production, at least for yesterday. So I should also send this one higher. It should make gas, electricity, housing uh, in Europe quite expensive. So again, another inflation driver higher. Waiting to see what comes out of this one. But as in going back to gold, I would imagine that we're probably going to fall more in this session. I don't think the fall is over. Given that dollar continues to strengthen, continues to send euro, pound, euro and pound and Aussie lower. And that's basically what's currently driving it. It's the dollar strength, not necessarily, well, in itself also gold weakness, but this was a technical high that I marked out, I think it was on Sunday. So I think we were here when I did it. So there should be buyers getting out there as well. There should be buyers getting out there as well. So it's logical. So right now it's wait for it to set itself up again for another setup, if that is a buy, or coming up again and then fall more. I don't really know, but something like this would be great. Thank you. Short, then buy, then wait in between. I've also said earlier that this was also just, I've said previously that this was just a range and then it broke out. So if there is a trend here, there is kind of something there. But once it gapped up on Sunday, there isn't much to look after because it's already gone. So how to go about it is, of course, always when the news comes out, you're already too late. Market will gap up open on Sundays, and you can chase it higher as oil has risen. You can chase gold higher as it rose, but if you did that, you would be in serious, in some losses, and that is ultimately the biggest lesson for your quickness, and you want to get something quick without really having a solid base of why we're doing it, so that it prevents you from getting into these markets. Because if anything, you were supposed to be in here, somewhere in here, but of course that's a bit of a volatile market to be in. Secondly, would be here, but again, I didn't have the foresight to call out those prices. But now, the sight that you have when you are here is that you are closing to resistance. That doesn't take that doesn't take away where you should have bought, but at least it covers you and shows you where you should probably not be a buyer. And it kind of comes into this situation as well. We don't know when we're going to peak. We don't know when we're going to peak. We don't know when we're going to peak. And then all of a sudden we do peak. That's the danger of chasing. So that's why I always said I want to look for the fall. And then the fall was absolutely astronomical in my book, 21% almost, 21% or so. That's a bit much and a bit above what I would be comfortable trading uh, at all. Would you look at that? We are trying to break. Not really. Not really. You're trying to break. Are you trying to break? Yeah, okay, okay. And that would mean pound Aussie should probably be a good buy or something. Pound New Zealand. Okay. Pound Aussie. Ooh, look at that. At least for the differential in strength and weakness right now would have been a move higher, and that's 190, 195 pips. So okay, if Aussie now gets weaker for some absolutely fun reasons, that would be a trade. Well, it's not a trade by all intents and purposes. It's just a strength differential at the moment. But of course, this is what I'm looking for at the end of the day. Okay, tries to break higher, but it's unable to. Can it be looking for? Can it be looking for daily shorts though? I need to fix this one. Bias exit. You 31%, not 200%. 30 back 30. Cool. 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 And then we go over to daily. We are on daily. Okay, daily bearish. So we didn't go down to stop target today. Okay, that's interesting. That's fun. That's good. Like that. And then we look for the buy, bullish, take out the bearish. So the other way to look over this is do that, that, and then that tomorrow. What is the likeness of that? Now, where we have seen a lot of resistance here in this area before, I would imagine that it's a ceiling to break. We have broken before and went into target yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry, Monday. That was yesterday. It's Tuesday. Yesterday. So yeah, pretty much good. Good to me. Looking for that. Looking for that. And continuation. Same thing though. Cool. Ouch. We're supposed to make our higher New Zealand. Euro is trying to break low. So Euro is really getting a beating right now. Iraq cuts West Corner 2 by 450 billion, 450,000 barrels per day. Is that what it said earlier? They said it earlier, like that's just old news. Iraq also shuts down the production of 460,000 barrels per day at West Corner. 2. And now they make it a red folder. EIA's Barrel convened an extraordinary meeting with the IA members' government today. To discuss oil and gas market situation. So nothing really there. Israeli orders Iranian civilians to leave area near Tehran industrial area. Payam airport near Tehran warning will carry out operations coming in the coming hours. I think the reason why all this falling now, Euro is falling now, is because we didn't get something out of this EIA thing. they seem not to be giving us what they want, giving us all production increases or something like that. So that's not that's not good enough. Okay, 2 seconds. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we break 1580. I think the next break, or the next, what do you call it, battle should be 1515, 1550, 11550, and then next battle is going to be 115, and as we go further lower, 1450. So that's kind of where we are now, and I don't think that this euro dollar has moved a lot given the situation. I think it's been still quite kind in where it is moved. So cool, fair enough. It is what it is. And pound, kind of in the same situation. So current we are at 133, 132, 131. Our price is to hold for a later date if that seems to be interesting for them. Then 0.58, 0.57, 0.56. So right now for me, it's just to see, okay, we are not necessarily free fall, but we are in a falling situation, and then we just see how far we go. Nothing worse than that. Coming back to my yens, my Aussie yen still hasn't fallen a lot, still there. Swiss yen, CAD yen is still very much bullish. Euro yen now tried to make a new low instead of making a new high. So you are naughty. If I go over to the weekly entry, we are below weekly entry. Don't go in to stop loss for the week. That's not just a theoretically stop loss if we were to buy it, but of course, haven't done that yet. So waiting for this one to turn higher. And next kind of break is, does it go down to 182? I don't think it's going to happen, but at this rate and in this market, I cannot guarantee anything. So we're just going to be reactive when things turns around and be happy with what we got, because we're coming out of a period right now, at least for me, I'm coming out of a period where I had profits and profits and profits. Not a lot of profits, but it was a good period. Good validation, good evaluation of assets, waiting for entries, as you saw earlier. Well, my euro yen, yeah, could have been better. It could have been a better entry. I could have entered here instead. So, but I mean, it's 40 pips lower. Could have been better. But at the end of the day, waiting for the same setups, and euro yen coming down into this level, to me, it's just a confirmation that we are in a situation, or in a position where, okay, this can just do pounds. So even if 187, 180, 183, if this level fails, I don't think it has yet though, but if this fails, then 182 is there, and it's as equally good as the previous, and that's a higher high, higher low. That's an equal low. But if it breaks 152, 182, 181, 181.50, then that's a whole other situation. then we can talk about, okay, why is euro yen falling? What failed? What can we do better to analyze better? And New Zealand yen doesn't seem to be wanting to make a new higher high today. Tried in a bit 5 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, candle. So okay, I mean, it's still, I'm still that far away from we're getting there. And I mean, at the end of the day, it hasn't fallen far either. We are coming down to resistance on on range, and we are down to M2 weekly, and we are very much in the buy zone, in the buy area, and just waiting for confirmation for it to turn around higher. Easy, straightforward, no fuzz, no game, no shame. Should have been dollar yen. But if I bought dollar yen on Sunday, that would be, where is that one? There, that candle, those candles. That's 156.5. I would have gained 120, 130. Sorry. Profits is profits, but it's going to be the worst profits I've ever gotten, because that's just literally just, that's the worst thing I can do. Chasing. I don't like chasing. Gold falling. Oil trying to make a new higher high, even. Trying to make a new high and was not able to. I think that it's going to be successful going forward. There is plenty of reasons for it to turn higher. Yeah, forced. That was mentioned earlier. So that's not old. That's old news now, bruv. Yeah. So in a few days, and if we don't have solution in a few days, then that's going to create a hammock. And I'm quite unsatisfied that Xi Jinping came out and said that they should make sure that oil flows. That did not have enough impact. I would imagine that China, who is the biggest buyer of oil from the region and a friend of Iran, would make Iran bend. But yeah, again, the person that said that the Strait of Hormuz was closed was I would imagine a Iranian official, but he was an advisor, security advisor, so wasn't the leader. When the market trend is to the upside, the sellers need to take back control. If they can't have a technical victory against buyers, the trend is upside. Yeah, practically it. And the problem here for buyers of oil right now, at least those who are trying to chase it, is that you can probably get whatever price out of it, but when there is news or market can sniff out that there might be a change, that potentially, not even if, potentially that it can be opened again, whatever priced into the oil price is going to evaporate in nano microseconds. It's going to be fast, it's going to be hard, it's going to be down. So in the meantime, is of course the upside. And of course, don't fight the trend and all of that. Whoa, trend is your friend, don't fight the trend, all that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, this isn't normal trading. This isn't a normal market. This is risk event trading. And as much as we have experience and we have a way of dealing with these situations, it doesn't necessarily help out when outside forces is in control of what we're supposed to be doing. It's totally up to Iran, totally up to US, totally up to Israel, totally up to Saudi and the GCC countries to figure it out. And in the meantime, the market's going to wreck it. And that seems to be the case. I didn't get my New York. I didn't get my London entry. I did not get my New York entry. Can I get my Asia entry? I don't know. I hope I can get that soon. If you go back to last year, we had a strike about 13th or so, I think the first one. That was Israel doing that first. And pound from top to bottom fell 260 pips or so. That was Israel. And then that was US striking Iran. And then this was Iran fighting back. And it had a missile attack against a US military base in Qatar, and they told them in advance. Of course, I remember nobody died. May have been, I don't know. But then the market was like, okay, things is over. So even if we fell 256 pips, pound dollar rose a good 400. So we fell 256, we rose 3. Sorry, we rose almost 400. So that's kind of the dynamics that we're looking at right now, is that we went from 136 to 134, and we are currently gone from, when did the situation start? Situation started here, that would be here. So we've gone from 135 to 133. Great, Bram. I'll try to be a more. Okay. Good luck. I wish you all the best. All right, everyone. I think that I tried to snoop around, see if I can get something. Couldn't get anything. Doesn't mean that there's nothing there. It's just waiting for me to do it. So if you're wondering, I'm looking for around 210 or so entry, somewhere around here tomorrow, and then we'll see if that gets, or later, if that gets entry or something. All right. Thank you guys for joining in. I very much appreciate you guys joining. If I'm supposed to be back tomorrow again, so if you want to come there again, then yeah, sure, good, great. Hopefully can get some more profits out of this market. Make market come back to life. All right. Boom.